Okay, so welcome everybody to my talk, 8 Healthy Recipes Using Angular and RxJS. A little bit about myself before I start. So my name is Lamis, I'm a GDE for Angular. I've been into Angular for the past few years. I'm leading now an Angular team in my company. And I'm also the founder of Angular Tunisia, speaker, mentor, and a content creator. So let's jump into it. But before we start again, this is a disclaimer for you. So all food pictures in this presentation are purely made for aesthetic purposes. Okay, so don't try to make relations between the picture and the Angular or RxJS concept. There is no relation between them. So it does not reflect any of Angular and RxJS concepts. Well, let's start with the first recipe, which is the bulk operations or running parallel network requests. So here I just want to shed the light on the context, okay? So when I say bulk operations here, I am speaking about bulk operation in that are coming from the front end and hitting the RESTful API, okay, hitting your backend. And to be clear about it, so here you have your UI layer and you have your server layer. You have an event that will just call many times your server. Okay, there are many requests that will get called from your front end layer, and after clicking on this event or triggering this event, clicking on an action, whatever. But the idea is this bulk operation. You should request the server so many times. Okay, this is what I mean about bulk operations, and again, it's under the umbrella of RESTful APIs. Okay, I'm just calling a REST API, so I have a RESTful backend. Well, so an example of this is the upload of files. Okay, this is a very recurrent use case in web application, and let's say massive upload is the accurate use case for bulk operation. Okay, we are not going to upload one file, but we are going to upload a list of files. Okay, but I want to do it once a time. I don't want to do every time the user uploads a file. I will do it at the end. Okay, I will let the user choose 10 files, 15 files, wherever, and then I will just provide an action that will upload all these files for me. Okay, and those requests will just call an upload method or an upload service in my backend API. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so whether there's this use case, or you can just call only one request and just pass the list of all the files and do the upload. But sometimes you need to call more than one request, because whether the upload methods are different, or your API does not support massive content. Okay, and it only support one parameter in the body of your service. So let's focus on this case. Okay, I have this massive upload, and I will show you how you can achieve this at the lowest cost with RxJS, and we will be applying this in an Angular application. So what we need, the ingredients we need, are the fork join, finalize, CatchError operators, and a custom function. Okay, so here let's explain the fork join operator available in RxJS operators, and it falls under the category of combination operator. Whether you want to combine streams every time you have this use case, just think of it, maybe it's a candidate. And let's explain the how does it work. Okay, so the fork join takes as a parameter a list of streams. Okay, and it will emit only one value when all the streams ends and complete after that. Okay, it's kind of severe operator. It only emit once at the end of the execution of each stream. So as you can see here, the last value here of every stream is emitted by the fork join operator at the end, e.g. 4, okay, and then it will complete. Okay, so this is what I need in my case. In the bulk operation, whether it's massive upload or any other use case, you don't need to know what is happening through the process. Okay, you only need the result. The upload happened successfully, or it has happened with errors, and that's what I need. Okay, I need this at the end to just show to my users an information. Okay, whether it's uploaded successfully or there is an error, and those are the errors. Okay, I don't need to see what happened in every upload of every file. Okay, so this is the idea. And the fork join here really meets my need because I need this. Okay, I need to combine the streams of observables and just to get the answer or the result of the execution at the end. And this is what it looks like into code. I have here two requests that call the upload service. Okay, I have my upload file method that takes into parameter the file object, my file, and returns a file status, success, error. And I just call the fork join, and it takes a list of observables. Okay, and at the end, I will map the result and just do some process. For here, I'm just like login files uploaded successfully, but in real world scenario, you will just do something, you will execute some code. And the result here will contain the status of each file, okay? So of each file, that's it. So the result of the upload file method. It's again an array. And an important thing to mention here is that the fork join respects the order. So if I just put 1, 2, 3 streams, so the result will be the result of the first stream, the result of the second stream, and then of the last stream, even though, or even if the second stream completes first, okay? It doesn't matter, okay? It will wait, and then the order will get respected. So just bear this, and yeah, take care of it if in your scenario you need this order information. Well, so that's it. Okay, so this is how I did it. This is how I did the I did the bulk operation implementation. But just one problem here is that it does not meet my specification. The requirement I mentioned in the first slide. It's like here I am just handling the happy case. Okay, I have my files uploaded successfully and it's okay for me. Okay, there's no errors, nothing happens. Because if an error happens here with this code written, nothing will get emitted for you. And this is another important thing you should take care of, because the fork join, when an error happens or with one of the streams, it will complete, okay, and you'll not get anything, okay? You will not get the success callback, and it will, here the case, it will throw an error. Nothing will get emitted, and I will get upset, okay? Because in general, we need to handle the errors. It's very important to handle errors. And in most cases, it makes sense. For example, for the massive uploads again, which is our example in this session, I need to tell the user that this file was not uploaded because, for example, the limit exceeded a configured limit, or this extension, PNG or wherever, is not supported, for example. So I need to tell the user that something wrong happens to allow the user to fix it. Okay, so it's very important to handle the errors in your, like in every use case. And how we can do this? We just add the CatchError operator here. After, like, I will pipe this observable, which is the result of the upload. And here I will just call CatchError, and I will wrap the error. Okay, I will wrap the error into another observable, kind of keeping the subscription alive. Okay, so I will just, there's an error, no problem. I will wrap it into another living observable, and this way the fork join will not be set. Okay, it will continue listening to the other streams, and it will not complete. Okay, for me. Yeah, and here when you wrap the error, you can just add the status of the file. Okay, you can wrap it into something significant, like just call of an object which contains like an information that you will test on. For example, the file status in our cases. Okay, so you can make the difference between a happy case and a sad case, like a regular case and an error case. Okay, yeah, so that's okay. We dealt with the error scenario and success scenario. Now, another scenario is the side effects. I think that there are three, like in the bulk operation, there are three main scenarios that you should take care of, like the success of the bulk, the error, if an exception happened, and you should implement or provide the possibility to run side effects. And this is what I'm showing in this slide. Sometimes, okay, as I said, in the bulk operations, we don't want to know what's happening through the process. We need only one result at the beginning. But sometimes we need to know if one process completed, we need to do something. Okay. Example again, to make it concrete for you in the upload file, massive upload. Okay, I want to show the user a progress bar of the upload process. So every time an upload ends or a file gets uploaded, I need to just increase the percentage. Okay, so how can I do this? We can do this through a very like secret operator. It's not secret operator, but it's very handy in those situations. Wherever you want to intercept the completion of an observable, you want to be notified, to be aware of the completion, you just call the finalize operator and you just implement here your function, okay, or your side effect. In my case here, I am just calculating the progress percentage. Yeah, just a custom function to track the progress. And this way I have like the real progress of my files. Yeah, so this is the example to make it concrete. And this is how I dealt with bulk operations with Angular and RxJS. And as you can see, it's just few lines of code and you're done with it. Now, let's move to the second recipe, which is the caching HTTP requests. Again, I am here under the umbrella of RESTful backends. So let's suppose we have some components and we have a recipe service. Okay, and in the recipe service, we have the stream of our recipes. And every component will subscribe to this recipe service. Okay, so this recipe, every component will subscribe to this recipe stream. So every component has to inject the recipe service. Okay, so let's imagine that you have this recipe service injected in many components, but you don't like the list of recipes is not dynamic. Maybe it's sometimes static. Okay, and you want to cache this result in order to avoid every time the call to the backend. Okay, because if you don't cache it, you will see double calls to the backend every time. So what we need to do this, okay, we need the share replay operator and the CatchError operator again. So CatchError operator is the secret ingredient in every recipe. You will find it like in every recipe. Okay. So the share replay operator falls under the category of multicasting operator. Wherever you want to just to do this multicast to cache, just think of it. It might be a candidate. And this is the code. So let's break down what's happening at the level of this code. So here we have the healthy recipe service, and we have the recipes URL as a private attribute which contain the path of our recipe service. And then here we just call this service through the HTTP client API. And I will just catch the error here to do some process. Okay, so this is my stream. This is what we call collecting the stream. This is how I collect my stream inside the healthy recipes service. And I just put this in purpose in this slide because this is a common pattern in RxJS with Angular. I mean, when you are working with services inside your Angular components, it's highly advisable to design your observables or your streams to keep them alive and accessible throughout your application. Okay, so this way you can do many manipulations with those streams, and your application can be fully reactive. Okay, this is the first advantage. Okay, and the second advantage, you avoid this ng on init lifecycle hook when you call the method available inside your service that calls the HTTP client respectively thing and your API. So here you just you avoid this because you will just get this called every time your component is initialized. Even if you just close your screen and you open it again, or you just go to the bar and just go to your screen again, the ng on init lifecycle will get invoked and you will get the call to your API service every time, which is a cost. Okay, so just those are the advantages of this kind of pattern. That's why I wanted to highlight it in a special slide. And so we said that we need to cache the results. So what you need to do is just call the share replay operator on your observable stream. This way, RxJS will take care of caching the result and sharing it with all the subscribers. Okay, so this is how we share the observable with all the subscribers, and it's very useful in many situations. But here again, just be careful of something. Before you do this, just study whether your observable or stream is subject to be cached or not. And what I mean by subject to be cached, your information, the information you are going to cache, is it static or does it change throughout the process? okay, this is the question you should ask yourself. For example, the list of currencies, it's something static, it's constant, okay? So you can cache it. The profile, your user's profile information, yeah, in most cases it's constant, it's static. But sometimes even you have a list of objects, and even if you have you call the same like API or service, maybe the API returns different results based on the parameters you pass to the service. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe one component just pass some kind of parameters, so it a kind of result. The other component that injected the same service will call the same service, but we get other results. And this is how it meant to be. Like, yeah, the system should work this way. So in that case, it will be a total mess if you use the share operator, because all your components will get the same result. It's not supposed to be. So just be careful about this part. Just study it. If your stream is subject to be cached, so do it. If not, just don't do it, because it's fine to get double calls, because they are double calls, but they are true calls. I need to call the server to get the real data and the real results. Yeah. So now let's move to the third recipe, which is combining streams, or let's say data joining. And yeah, as I said earlier, I said that it's highly advisable to provide your results throughout the application through some observables and streams, okay? And to keep those streams in every service, so every component can get access to those streams, okay? So a very recurrent use case is taking those streams from all of the services available out there and trying to combine them in order to do a treatment, okay? And this is what we mean by data joining. And what we need in this recipe is combine latest operator, CatchError operator, and array destructuring technique. And let's start with the combine latest operator, which falls under the category of combination operators. And it's not like fork join. It does not emit one time, but it emits a value when there is a new emission of one of the given observables. Let's explain it further. Suppose that we have two observables, and every time one of the observables is emitting values, okay? So the first value is A1, which is the last emitted value by the two observables. Now, at this level, this observable emitted B. So the combined latest should emit this value, okay, to the consumer of combined latest, because there's something new. It should always return the last values of all the observables combined, okay? But at that time, this observable did not emit anything. So what's his last value? It's 1. So I should emit B1 as a combined latest operator. Now, at this point now, or at that time, the second observable emitted 2. So combined latest should emit this value or this update to its consumers. Let's see if the other observables emitted also. No, there's nothing. So the last value is B. So it's B2, and so on and so forth. This is how it works. And it will every time return the last value of the observables. Okay, every time there's a new emission, it will emit the last value of all the observables. Yeah, so this is very useful when you want to combine the streams, especially when there is relations between the data and there's recurrent updates. Okay, in my case, again, I will every time give you an example to understand the need and to just also try to think about your use case in your application and to see if there's some similarities or something like that. Yeah, so I said that in my case, I have the recipes dollar here, which is my stream of observable. And I have the reviews dollar, okay, which is the review for every recipe. Okay, the list of reviews of every recipe. The list of reviews of every recipe is get updated very quickly, and every time I may have many reviews associated to this recipe, but I need to show the user the last updates or the last available reviews. Okay, maybe sometime only the count of the reviews, but it should be the real count of the reviews. Yeah, so what I will do in my case here, I will just combine the recipes dollar and the reviews dollar. So every time a new value comes in, I get notified, okay, as a consumer of the combined latest. And here I will just receive an array which contains every time the last values of recipes and the last values of reviews, okay? So yeah, and in order to do some treatment after both recipes and reviews have emitted something, you just use the array destructuring technique, which is available in ES6. And yeah, this way you can consume. So you have this object that contains the recipes and the reviews, and you can process it and to wherever you want. And this is very useful when you have like many updates and you need to get notified of the updates and you need to combine streams together. And every time you should the last value of each update, the last recipes, the last reviews, every time though associated. So you can do this. You can use combine latest. Now let's move to the following recipe, which is avoiding memory leaks. We have here some chocolates and some nuts. So yeah, avoid memory leaks and manage unsubscriptions. And yeah, this is a nightmare for developers because sometimes we implement many things, we get things working, we see some some reality, some interfaces, some actions, etc. But then the browser crashes, and I don't know what's the reason. Okay, or I have another like behavior which is like weird in production, and I'm like, what's happening? So yeah, so you should take care of memory. Okay, so you can today analyze it in Chrome DevTools. You can analyze your memory consumption. Yeah. So you can analyze it, and yeah, you need also to avoid it from the development phase. And here, when working with RxJS, you can deal with this. This may be a problem because you subscribe to observables and you forget to unsubscribe sometimes. So what you need here, you need the async pipe operator, take until, first, take last, and first operator. So those are the ingredients for this recipe. So the choice is for you, okay, how you can deal with this. So first choice, let Angular manage the subscription for you. What does it mean? If you are working with Angular component, you can use a mechanism that handles the unsubscription for you. And it's the async pipe, the familiar async pipe. If you're familiar with Angular, maybe familiar with the async pipe. If you're not, it's a specific pipe that will, first of all, do the subscription for you automatically for your observable, and best of all, do the unsubscription for you. And it will every time emit the last value for you because it's subscribed to your observable, okay? And you can use it in your template for sure. It will be used in the template. So it's like you have a clean code and you manage the subscription, unsubscription, etc. In my case here, I am just using the asynchronous pipe to subscribe to the recipes dollar, and I will not care about the unsubscription because Angular will do the job for me. In the ng on destroy lifecycle hook, when this component get destroyed, the observable will get also unsubscribed. Okay, this is the first advantage. The second advantage, it works very fine with change detection, with this change detection strategy on push. Yeah, because it's very also recommended to adopt the change detection strategy on push to minimize those rendering calls and yeah, at runtime and the change detection like cycles. And yeah, so even when you're working with observables and you use the async pipe, so the system will know automatically that it should update this view and the change detection will get fired. Okay, so when you put the change detection strategy to on push, the differences or the change detection mechanism will get called when the input changes, the output changes, or when there is an observable in your template which is piped with async pipe. Yeah, so this is another advantage. Okay, so this is the first choice. Let Angular handles the unsubscription for you. Now you have another choice. Let RxJS manage the subscription for you. Sometimes, if you will call your observable in your template, then it's fine. You can use the async pipe. Sometimes you don't need to call it in your template. You need it internally in your services, in your like in other classes, or inside the observable itself. If you're working with state management and your effects with NGRX. Yeah. So just keep in mind that RxJS can manage this subscription, the unsubscription for you. And there are plenty of operators that can do this. For instance, take while, take last, and first. Okay. For example, here there is an example to make things clear for you. I have here the interval operator, which will just emit value every 1 second, and I want only to take 5 values. So I will call the take operators, the take operator, and the take operator will just emit for me 5 values, and then it will complete and it will unsubscribe automatically. So this is good for me, okay, because I will not manage the unsubscription on this observable. Take while, do the same thing. You can take the subscription on while another observable is alive. Okay, so when there is a dependence. Take last is the it's the like opposite, and first is again the first value, and then it will complete. Okay, so just put in your mind that there is some operators in RxJS that manage or handle the unsubscription for you. You can look further, and many developers are doing this. They may be using external libraries, for example, nginit until destroy, which will manage the unsubscription for you from all the Angular components. There is RxAngular also, which is a good library in managing the state and for performance and for the unsubscription thing. So just check it out. And you can also do it yourself. Okay, if you can't use it in your template, you can use async pipe. You can choose the RxJS operator. You don't want to include external library, you can use it yourself. So when you do the subscribe to this observable, you just call the take until operator and call the this.destroy here dollar, which is a subject created to get called in the ng on destroy. So when this component get destroyed, this subject will just send a true message or notification, and it will complete. And when this completes, then this will complete, like the stream dollar will complete, because we use take until. And you can handle this way. And this is a recommended pattern also with Angular and RxJS together. Yeah, so this is a zoom on memory leaks. Also, you can keep in mind that there is, for merge operators, or merge like RxJS operators, or the merge operators and combination operators, you can just subscribe on the result of merge. And RxJS can unsubscribe for you from the list of observables given as input. Yeah, so just keep in mind this. Maybe it's helpful in some use cases. Yeah, so, and I will be talking about this deeply. Like, I will present a talk about memory leaks and performance with Angular mission. So check this repo out in order to get notified about the date and get your calendar invite, etc. Well, so second, let's say fifth recipe, sharing data between components. Well, this is what we need for it. The behavior subject, an Angular service, an observable, and an update function. So what I need to do, what's my requirement? I have a component that will update a kind of data, and this data will get consumed by more than one component, okay, by many components. Maybe also the other components will update and consume. Maybe all the components will update or consume, but this data is shared between them, okay? So if you have this case or this requirement and you show me this, I will automatically advise the state management. Okay, so I will tell you that your application is maybe subject to state, and you should manage the state, which is the single source of truth in one place. You can use Nginx or any other state management library. But sometimes I saw people that they don't have big application. Their application is not 100% subject to state. They have only one or two kind of data that they share between their components, and they don't want to put in place a state management mechanism. So in this case, if you have a small application and you need to just like share data, one or two maximum kind of data between your components, then consider the behavior subject, okay, which is a special kind of subject in RxJS, and subjects are like observable and observers at the same time. Okay, so you can use them in order to send a massive or emit massive messages to your subscribers, or just listen in order to get yours. And it takes a default value. So here I just have, for example, the selected recipe. Again, I will give you an example in order to understand better. In my case, I have recipes, I have reviews. They are updated frequently, and I display them for the user. I don't know, whatever the component is, data list, grid, cards. It's not important, but I am displaying them, those information. And every time a user selects a recipe, I have to display the details of this recipe in one component. Okay, so the selected recipe should be shared between those components. Okay, maybe I can like display another information in other components. So I need some to store this selected recipe somewhere, or to share it between my components. So how can I do this using RxJS? Well, here I have my healthy recipe service again. I will just create the selected recipe as a behavior subject, and I will extract the observable from it. Here, this is the selected recipe $, which is the observable extracted from the behavior subject. And I will implement a method which is called update recipe, which take the most recent recipe as input. This is the parameter, and just notify the selected recipe subject, okay, about the recipe title. So here, every time I am sending to the selected recipe the most recent value of recipe. And what we can gain through this, every subscriber to the selected recipe $, will get this last value. As simple as that. So I should only take care about when to call this. So I will call it when I, for example, trigger the on-click event on the recipe. I will call the update service available in my service here. And in the other components, which need the last update of the selected recipe, they should only subscribe to the selected recipe's dollar. And it's done with sharing the data. You will get, yeah, it's super fun and super user-friendly, because when you have your components display in as a UI, like for sure, you will see the updates automatically, and it's like very user-friendly for your users. Yeah, so consider this. Now, let's move to the following recipe, which is real-time using WebSockets, how to consume real-time data using RxJS. And here you'll need the two ingredients, the WebSocket subject and an Angular service. And here I want just to know that RxJS supports dealing with streams coming from real-time providers, like from WebSockets for sure. So yeah, you can use this in order to process real-time data. There's the WebSocket subject, which you can obtain by calling the WebSocket factory function available in the RxJS package, and you can give your WebSocket endpoint. You can intercept some specific event from the socket lifecycle, like the opening of the connection, the closure of the connection. You can do fun things in the closing of the connection. You can even handle the reconnection mechanism, which is a must in the real-time world. So yeah, you can do many things in order to achieve a real-time behavior. Well, this is like a zoom on the WebSocket subject. It's not like a deep dive. And if you want to know more about or learn more about it, I've talked about this many times. I have an article which is very detailed, and you can check out also my GitHub repository in order to check out the code if you're interested in the real-time subject. But just keep in mind that it's supported by the RxJS library, and you can just do it like with some lines of code, and you're done with the requirement. Now let's move to the following recipe, which is bench performance, like measure performance. And here is the same, like a similar recipe to the memory leaks, but it's not the same like corner. It's another corner of the performance, and I highly advise to bench the performance of your application before you ship it into production. Okay, and what you need here is some useful tools like Source Map Explorer. You need also to use the change detection strategy on push, lazy loading, compress your application before you ship it into production. Okay, you can use the gzip format in order to compress your application. If you're working with ng4 and loops, try track by. If you have a big application, big features, consider state management. Change detection strategy on push. I think I explained it earlier in the slides. For lazy loading, it's like loading your modules on demand. Okay, consider doing this and check it out. It's very detailed in the Angular documentation. You can adopt this strategy, and you will gain a lot in performance, because your modules will only get loaded on demand, and it's very important. Yeah, so consider those parameters, and there are plenty of others idea, but like, let's start with this. The Source Map Explorer, I think I missed it, but it's a tool to analyze your bundle size, and it will analyze your bundle size. It has an HTML visualization, and you can see the cost or the size of each dependency in your bundle size. okay, in your bundle. Like if you have a dependency which is taken so much space, then you can study it, you can consider it, even though you should do this, and you should study every dependency before putting it in your application. Should be very careful about this, but even though you missed this in the development phase, you can after that just fix it. So the source map explorer is very useful because it will visualize your dependencies, all the dependencies, and the size of each dependency, and you can see if there is useless also dependency, you can fix it. If there is sometimes there are wrong imports, like you import all the library and this will ship to production, but you only need like one component from this library. So you can just import this component, and in the bundle you will only get this component, not the whole library. So consider doing this, and benching performance. And the last recipe: stay healthy, stay hydrated, and consider upgrading always to the last version of Angular. The last version now is 11, and the version 12 is around the corner. And there are also always updates in the bundle size, performance, the rendering mechanism, the build time, etc. And here, what you need is just one command line, and you're done, which is ng update, and you can update your application and benefit from those amazing features, like in the Angular 11, the faster builds. For NGCC process, it's faster with TypeScript 4.0. Also, there are faster compilations. The experimental Webpack support is there with modules federation and tree shaking, etc. So you can play around some cool things like micro frontend, etc. Yeah, you can experience this and test it. There are improved reporting and logging in the CLI, and language service, which is very helpful to make development with Angular productive and fun, is also updated with some cool stuff. So yeah, those are my collection, but there are many other features. You can check out the official documentation for the exhaustive list of like enhancements. And yeah, so that's it. Stay healthy, stay hydrated, upgrade. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for having me. Hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any question about any recipe or any comment on it, just ping me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and I can answer you. Thank you.